April 28, 1967, Houston, Texas. Muhammad Ali refused induction into the United States Army, refused to fight in the Vietnam War, made a choice that cost him everything. His boxing license was immediately suspended. His heavyweight championship was stripped. His passport was confiscated. His career was destroyed. He was 25 years old, in his absolute prime, the best heavyweight boxer in the world, and he couldn't fight. The suspension lasted exactly 1,079 days, nearly 3 years, from April 1967 to October 1970. 3 years of his physical prime. 3 years when fighters are at their absolute best. 3 years that could never be recovered or replaced. Stolen, gone, taken by a government that wanted to break him for refusing to fight their war. Those 1,079 days should have destroyed Muhammad Ali, should have ended his career, should have broken his spirit, should have made him irrelevant. That's what his enemies hoped. That's what boxing experts predicted. Take away 3 prime years from any fighter and they're finished. The sport moves on. New champions emerge. Skills deteriorate. The world forgets. But Muhammad Ali didn't disappear during those 1,079 days. Didn't break. Didn't compromise. Didn't fade into irrelevance. Instead, he transformed. Became something more than a boxer. Became a symbol. Became a voice. Became Muhammad Ali the icon instead of just Cassius Clay the fighter. Those stolen days made him greater than boxing alone ever could. Day 1 of the suspension hit Ali like a physical blow. April 29, 1967. He woke up in his home, knowing everything had changed overnight. No training schedule to follow, no fights to prepare for, no championship obligations to fulfill. Just a former champion stripped of his title for refusing to kill people he had absolutely no quarrel with. The phone started ringing at dawn, death threats flooding in, hate mail piling up, people calling him every name imaginable: coward, traitor, communist, draft dodger, telling him he should be in federal prison, should be executed, should be completely destroyed as an example. But other calls came too during those first shocking days. Calls from young people thanking him for his courage, calls from civil rights leaders praising his principles, calls from people around the world who saw him as a hero for standing up to the most powerful government on earth, calls from people who'd never cared about boxing but cared deeply about principle. Ali realized something profound in those first days of exile. He'd lost boxing but gained something potentially more powerful: a different kind of platform, a different kind of influence, a different kind of power that transcended sports completely. The financial pressure was immediate and absolutely crushing. Ali had been making millions annually as heavyweight champion. Now he made nothing from boxing. No fights meant no purses. No championship meant no endorsements. No income stream at all. He had a young family to support, had people depending on him financially, had expenses that didn't magically stop just because his career stopped, had a lifestyle built around championship income that couldn't be sustained without fights. The government knew this reality. Knew crushing financial pressure breaks most people eventually, makes them compromise their principles, makes them bow down and apologize and beg for mercy. Ali absolutely refused to compromise despite the pressure. Sold his expensive cars one by one, sold his jewelry and watches, moved his family to a smaller, cheaper house, cut expenses everywhere possible, found whatever work he could to survive. But mainly, he started speaking publicly, started lecturing on college campuses across America, started talking about war and peace and principle, and standing up for what you believe in, even when it costs you everything. Students invited him eagerly, paid him small speaking fees, enough to survive month to month. More importantly, they listened intently, really listened to what he had to say. The college speaking circuit became his new boxing ring. University auditoriums, instead of sports arenas, microphones instead of boxing gloves, carefully chosen words instead of precisely thrown punches. And Ali discovered he was just as naturally gifted at this as he was at boxing, maybe even better. He could move a crowd with words the same way he moved in the ring with his feet, could command complete attention, could make thousands of people think deeply, could make people question authority, could make audiences angry or inspired or challenged or all three simultaneously. He spoke at Harvard University, at Yale, at Stanford, at small unknown colleges nobody had heard of, at historically black colleges, at predominantly white universities, everywhere and anywhere that would have him. Sometimes for decent money, sometimes for barely anything, sometimes completely for free, always brutally honest, always completely authentic, always absolutely refusing to back down or moderate his controversial message to make it more palatable. I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong. No Viet Cong ever called me nigger. Why should I go halfway around the world to kill poor people in their own country, while my own people are getting killed right here in America? The speeches reached millions of young people, far more people than would ever watch his boxing matches. Students who would never watch or care about boxing heard Muhammad Ali speak passionately about war and justice and standing up for principle, no matter the cost. He became infinitely more than just an athlete to them, became a voice of conscience for his entire generation. The government had deliberately meant to silence him completely by stripping away boxing. Instead, they inadvertently gave him a much bigger megaphone and a far more important stage. A legal battle consumed enormous amounts of time and energy, fighting the federal draft conviction, fighting to get his boxing license reinstated, fighting to box again anywhere, endless court dates, expensive lawyer meetings, appeal after appeal. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court. Would take 4 agonizing years to fully resolve. Meanwhile, Ali lived in legal limbo, not in federal prison, but not free either. Unable to box professionally, but unable to truly move forward with his life either. The pressure to break him was absolutely relentless from all directions. The government offered numerous deals. Fight charity exhibitions for the troops overseas, and we'll reinstate your license. Publicly apologize for refusing induction, and we'll give you your championship back. Compromise your deeply held principles just a little bit, and you can be heavyweight champion again. Ali refused every single offer, every compromise suggestion, every attempt to make him bend even slightly. I'd rather die standing up for what I believe than live compromising my principles. The boxing world moved forward without him, whether he liked it or not. Joe Frazier won the title and became recognized as champion. Jimmy Ellis briefly held a version. Young, talented fighters emerged and developed. The heavyweight division continued evolving. Ali watched helplessly from the outside looking in. Watched other men hold the championship belt that rightfully should have been his. Watched his precious prime years tick away inexorably. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year after year, the physical toll from inactivity was quietly brutal. Ali tried desperately to stay in fighting shape, but training alone at home isn't remotely the same as training for scheduled fights. No elite sparring partners at that championship level. No motivation of an upcoming bout pushing you. His legendary hand speed began to diminish ever so slightly. Not dramatically, not obviously to casual observers, but enough. That razor-thin edge separating great from good began to dull. Every professional fighter knows instinctively that 3 years away from competition is essentially a career ender. Ali knew it too, felt it happening gradually, couldn't stop it no matter how hard he trained alone. But something else was happening simultaneously, in parallel. Ali was growing and developing in completely different ways. His understanding of complex politics deepened considerably. His understanding of global issues expanded dramatically. His ability to articulate sophisticated ideas improved remarkably. He read voraciously, thought deeply, developed intellectually in ways constant boxing training never would have allowed. The fighter was becoming a serious thinker. The athlete was becoming an activist. The champion was becoming a lasting symbol of something greater. The isolation from boxing was the hardest part emotionally. Boxing is a tight-knit brotherhood, a community of fighters who understand each other in ways outsiders never can. Ali was suddenly cut off completely from all of it. Couldn't train at legitimate gyms, couldn't spar with other professional fighters, couldn't be part of the community he loved deeply, couldn't talk shop with other boxers, couldn't feel like he belonged anywhere. That hurt Ali more than the financial problems, more than the legal battles, more than the death threats. Being forcibly exiled from boxing hurt him in ways nothing else possibly could. Boxing wasn't just his career, was his identity, his purpose, his entire life, and they'd violently taken it from him for standing on principle. His first marriage suffered terribly under the strain. The constant stress, the unrelenting pressure, the complete uncertainty about the future, the crushing financial problems. All of it put unbearable strain on his relationship. His first wife divorced him during this dark period. The personal cost of standing firmly on principle was extraordinarily high, higher than most people would ever be willing to pay. But Ali paid it without wavering, kept paying it, day after difficult day after impossible day. The turning point in public opinion came gradually, not suddenly. The Vietnam War became increasingly unpopular across America. Body bags coming home, soldiers dying for unclear reasons. The American public started questioning the war fundamentally. Ali's stance began looking less like cowardice and more like prophetic courage. Students protested nationwide. Civil rights leaders spoke up publicly. Athletes stopped condemning him. Slowly, grudgingly, painfully, America started questioning whether Muhammad Ali had been absolutely right all along about the war. Year 2 of the suspension dragged on endlessly. Day 500 arrived. Then day 700. Ali kept speaking on campuses, kept fighting in courtrooms, kept absolutely refusing to compromise his principles. The government's legal case weakened with each appeal. Courts started questioning the conviction's validity, started seeing massive holes in the prosecution's arguments, started recognizing that Ali's religious beliefs were completely sincere, started understanding they'd unjustly punished him for his beliefs, not his actions. Year 3 of exile began. Day 900 passed, then day 1000. Ali received offers to fight professionally in other countries. Japan wanted him, England wanted him, Germany wanted him. Anywhere but America would license him. He seriously considered these offers, desperately needed the money, desperately needed to fight, but also knew fighting overseas looked like running away from America, looked like giving up on his home country, looked like admitting defeat. He wanted his license back in America, specifically, wanted vindication at home, wanted to prove conclusively they couldn't break Muhammad Ali, no matter how hard they tried. Then, October 1970 arrived, day 1079 of forced exile. Georgia finally agreed to license Muhammad Ali for a professional fight. Not a title fight, not a championship bout, not immediate vindication. Just basic permission to box professionally again, after 3 stolen years. A stepping stone back. A chance to prove himself again. An opening in a door that had been slammed shut. After 3 years of exile, after 1,079 days of being banned from his profession, Ali could finally fight again. But he wasn't remotely the same fighter who'd been suspended 3 years earlier. 3 years older chronologically, 3 years rustier physically, 3 years of athletic prime completely stolen, 3 years that could never be recovered or given back. Everyone in boxing knew it. Sports writers knew it. His opponents knew it. Ali knew it better than anyone. The question haunting everyone was whether he could somehow overcome what had been taken from him, whether he could reclaim what they'd stolen, whether the devastating 3-year layoff had permanently destroyed his chance at greatness, whether Muhammad Ali could ever be Muhammad Ali again. His comeback fight was scheduled against Jerry Quarry, October 26, 1970, Atlanta, Georgia. Ali won decisively in 3 rounds. Still had it somehow. Still had the legendary speed. Still had the technical skills. The ring rust showed clearly, but the raw talent remained intact. The fundamental question now was whether he could beat the absolute best fighters, whether he could reclaim the heavyweight championship, whether the lost years had cost him his ultimate destiny, whether he could be more than just a fighter, whether he could be champion again. 3 months later, he fought Oscar Bonavena in Madison Square Garden. Won in 15 grueling rounds. Much harder fight than expected. The 3 stolen years showed much more clearly here. He got hit more than he used to. Wasn't quite as fast. Wasn't quite as sharp. The prime years stolen from him had definitely cost him physically. But he still won. Still found ways to overcome adversity, still showed heart and determination when skills alone weren't quite enough anymore. Then came March 1971, the fight absolutely everyone wanted desperately. Ali versus Joe Frazier, both completely undefeated, fighting for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Ali's chance to reclaim what had been stolen from him, to prove the 3 years of exile hadn't broken him permanently, to show the government couldn't take his destiny away, to show the world that Muhammad Ali was still the greatest. He lost. Frazier won by unanimous decision, knocked Ali down hard in the 15th round. First professional loss of Ali's entire career. The 1,079 days had cost him dearly. The 3 stolen years mattered enormously. He'd fought Frazier at 75% capacity instead of 100%. The edge that would have made the decisive difference was gone, stolen, taken by a government that wanted to break him for refusing their war. But Ali didn't break even in defeat. Losing to Frazier hurt deeply but didn't destroy his spirit. He'd already proven something far bigger than any championship, had proven principle matters more than success, had proven some things are worth sacrificing everything for, had proven you can lose absolutely everything material and still be somebody important. The government had taken 3 prime years from him, had stripped his championship title, had tried systematically to destroy his spirit and break his will. And he'd survived, had come back, had fought again at the highest level, had lost, but absolutely wasn't beaten in the ways that mattered most. The Supreme Court vindicated him legally just months later, overturned his conviction unanimously, said he'd been completely right all along, said his sincere religious beliefs were protected, said the government had wrongly and unjustly persecuted him. The legal victory meant everything symbolically, but couldn't return what had been taken physically. The vindication meant something profound, but couldn't give back 3 years of prime athletic performance. Ali kept fighting after the Frazier loss, beat Frazier decisively in their rematch, beat George Foreman in Zaire, reclaimed the heavyweight championship, became the first fighter in history to regain the heavyweight title after losing it, proved conclusively the 1,079 days hadn't destroyed him completely, but they'd cost him enormously. Cost him irreplaceable prime years, cost him fights he should have had, cost him victories that would have been certain without the exile, cost him a legacy that would have been even greater without the forced absence. Looking back with historical perspective, those 1,079 days defined Muhammad Ali as much as his greatest victories did. Perhaps more. Anyone with talent can win fights. Not everyone can sacrifice 3 prime years for unshakable principle. Not everyone can refuse to compromise when the cost is absolutely everything. Not everyone can survive being stripped of their identity and emerge somehow stronger, spiritually, if not physically. The stolen days made Ali infinitely more than just a boxer, made him an enduring symbol of resistance to unjust authority, made him a powerful voice for people who had no voice, made him someone who stood firmly for something beyond sports and entertainment. The government meant to break him completely by taking away boxing. Instead, they forced him to become something greater and more lasting, something that transcended sports completely, something historically eternal that will be remembered long after his fights are forgotten. The 1,079 days taught Ali lessons that boxing alone never could have taught him. Taught him patience in the face of injustice. Taught him resilience when everything seemed lost. Taught him that some principles are worth any price. Taught him that losing everything material doesn't mean losing yourself. Taught him that real strength isn't just physical. Taught him that influence comes from standing for something, not just from winning championships. Taught him that history judges you by what you refuse to do, not just by what you accomplished. Those days also taught America uncomfortable lessons about itself, about how it treats people who stand on principle, about how it persecutes those who refuse to conform, about how easily it strips away rights and freedoms when someone challenges authority, about how quickly it turns on its heroes when they become inconvenient. The Ali case became a mirror showing America truths about itself it preferred not to see. The physical cost of those 1,079 days can be calculated in lost fights and diminished speed. The financial cost can be calculated in millions of dollars of lost purses and endorsements. But the spiritual cost and the transformative gain are impossible to calculate numerically. Ali lost 3 years of his boxing prime, but gained a moral authority that no championship could ever provide. Lost millions of dollars, but gained the respect of millions of people who'd never cared about sports. Lost his physical peak, but gained intellectual depth. Lost immediate glory, but gained lasting legacy. When Ali finally returned to the ring, he wasn't just a fighter anymore. He was a symbol. Every punch he threw carried the weight of those 1,079 days. Every fight represented more than just boxing. Was about whether standing on principle costs you everything or makes you something greater. His losses hurt more because people felt they were losses for everyone who believed in him. His victories meant more because people felt they were victories for everyone who'd ever refused to compromise. The government thought they were punishing Muhammad Ali by taking away 3 years. They thought they were making an example of what happens when you refuse to serve. They thought they were breaking the spirit of a man who wouldn't conform. Instead, they accidentally created something far more powerful and enduring than any boxer could be. They transformed an athlete into an icon, a fighter into a philosopher, a champion into a symbol of resistance that would inspire generations long after his boxing career ended. Those 1,079 days weren't just stolen time, were transformation time, were the price of becoming more than just a boxer, were the cost of becoming a symbol, a voice, a conscience, a reminder that some things matter more than success or money or fame. The government took 3 years, but in doing so, they gave him eternity. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to know that standing on principle costs something but means everything. Subscribe for more stories about Muhammad Ali's journey through impossible circumstances. And remember, they took 1,079 days from Muhammad Ali, stripped his title, stole his prime years, tried to break his spirit. He refused to break, came back, fought again, reclaimed his championship, proved you can lose everything except who you are. That's real strength. That's real courage. That's Muhammad Ali.